It's Stephen Wachowski from Christian Music Network, and we're here with Michael Scurfield. So how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, Stephen. It's a bit of a time zone jump for me, so it's the middle of the night over here. But no, I'm doing fine, thank you. How are yourself?
Sure. Good. Well, good morning to you.
Thank you. Just
Yeah. So tell me about yourself.
a little bit about myself. Okay, one of the first things I'm already noticing is I talk too fast, so I'm going to try and slow right down here. So yeah, as we said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. I'm in Scotland. So if I do just a little bit, let's do get the geography out of the way first. If I do that, so I'm right in saying you're in Pennsylvania. Is that right, Stephen?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's you and that's
Philadelphia
me.
area. Yep.
So I'm in a little place called Callander, right in the middle of Scotland,
Okay.
just above Glasgow and Edinburgh, just there. And that's what we look like on satellite. More importantly, that's what it looks like out of my living room window, which is where I recorded all the music this morning. So right now, I'll take us off camera at the moment. Yeah. Right now, I'm in my office because, as I say, it's 1 in the morning over in Scotland, and I decided not to disturb the family. So all the music you're going to hear is pre-recorded this afternoon. What about myself? There's nothing special about me, really. I'm just a bloke that has a guitar and likes singing. I play in a number of bands in Scotland. My wife and I play in a Scottish folk band doing dances, what we call Cayley music over here. She sings in Gaelic. I don't. You're going to get no Gaelic from me, don't worry.
Cool.
I lead the worship in a little church over in Callander. If I do this, can we see? Yeah, this
Okay.
is my little church in Callander.
Wonderful.
You can see our pastor Nathan actually standing at the back there, ready to serve tea and coffee. But that's him leading worship, and sometimes he does, sometimes I do. He's actually from your side of the water. He came over to Scotland from the States to join us. So yeah, what's me? I'm havering already. Here you go. So yeah, I've been playing guitar since I was 15, 14, something like that, which is more years ago than either of us care to think about, I reckon. And I play for anything. I'll play for money. I'll play songs to get a point across. I'll write songs that express how I feel. I've been brought up as a Christian. My parents were Christians. You could say I've been a Christian all my life, but it's not true. I gave up a little bit in the middle, in that kind of transition point from I'm doing this because I've been brought up to believe it to actually what do I believe? And I went a bit bumpy there, but it turns out that it's all true after all. So,
Sure.
so, so that's where we are from me. Music-wise, I've got a selection of songs for you, probably more than we're going to get through today, so we don't need to worry about that. You tell me when you've had enough, and we'll stop recording. I think if you want a song, let's start with one of mine, if you're okay with that.
Sure. Yes.
So this is an older song. I wrote it a while ago called Dusty Roads. It's about the bits that you don't read in the Gospels. And I found myself reading an awful lot of Christian biographies and reading the Gospels and reading the Acts, and it's all very exciting and things keep happening and it all bang, 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 and it's pacey
Sure.
and God does this and God does that. But the bits you don't read in the Gospels, so they went to this town and they did something and it was miraculous, it was amazing, and then they went to the next town. But that, and then they went to the next town bit, could take days. So I wrote this little song called Dusty Roads about the disciples on the road between places going, oh, bloomin' heck, I want it to be exciting again, and all we're doing is walking. So, with your permission, I shall play you, if the technology does everything I think it should, let's have some Dusty Roads.
All right.
Travelling all day under a hot, dry sun, moving from place to place, following a chosen one, trying so hard to get where we are going. 4 days walk for 1 day's healing, 4 days walk for 1 day's preaching. All the effort, all the pain for just 1 day, and then we leave again on those dusty roads. Trying to believe that this is all worthwhile, trying to force myself to walk with him just one more mile. I want to call on fire from the sky. Not all day walking, all night praying. I need fights and demon slaying. I've a cause worth fighting for, but he says follow me and we'll leave once more for those dusty roads. Dusty roads that lead to nowhere fill my steps with pain. It seems I've walked for miles, but there's nothing left to gain. Another town so far away, and so we're moving on, hoping they'll appreciate the miles we have gone on dusty roads. I want to know just what I can achieve, spending my life on these roads, walking till my feet bleed. I can't survive with the daily slog of life. I need love and mountain peaks to feel his power each time he speaks. A fire burns within my soul to reach the people and make them whole, but it barely glows on these dusty roads. Dusty roads that lead to nowhere fill my steps with pain. It seems I've walked for miles, but there's nothing left to gain. Another town so far away, and so we're moving on, hoping they'll appreciate the miles we have gone on dusty roads. Living on these roads, learning to trust him. Living on these roads, learning to obey. The record shows that all who want to love him must walk these roads. The master knows the way on dusty roads that lead to someone failing my steps with pain. It seems I've walked for miles, but I'd do it all again, fighting on through weariness and doubt at every turn, hoping they'll appreciate the lessons we have learned on dusty roads. Lessons I have learned on dusty roads. Lessons you can learn on dusty roads. On dusty roads.
Great job. Good. Nice
So,
song.
if you want to kick me off the show now, it's a good time to do so.
Yeah. I mean, they certainly learn like endurance, endurance, and patience. Because the apostles had to walk. After
Yeah,
after Christ's ascension. They had to start churches and walked for miles and miles and miles.
yes. And I think so often we get caught up in the excitement of the story and the excitement of all the books, then we look at our own lives and go, why is my life not like that? And the reality is, it's not. Life isn't always one great miracle after another. Um, so it's good to remind ourselves that, yeah, they also had to do mundane things like wash the dishes and mend their shoes and walk to the next town. So,
Yes,
uh,
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you envision, the of Jesus and the apostles doing like miraculous work, and I said, well, I haven't healed anybody, and yet Jesus gave us the power to heal, so, you know,
yes. I can't remember who it was made the comment that whenever Paul went to a new town, there was either a riot or a revival. Whenever
right.
I go to a new town and preach, they serve tea and biscuits.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like Acts 16, where they threw him in jail,
Yeah.
and he says, "Well, I'm a Roman citizen, so they freaked out, yeah,
Yeah.
after they beat him up, and put him in
Yes.
jail.
Yeah. So. But yeah, life's not like that for me. I don't know if it's like that for you. I hope it's not, actually. I don't know how many times you've been thrown in jail this week, but me,
Yeah,
none.
really.
So,
I know, exactly,
uh,
exactly.
well, that's where we go.
Yeah. So, what's your
So,
next song?
next song, moving on. Okay, I'm going to move on to some other people's songs now because it's
Okay,
not all just about me. It's all
awesome.
going to be me playing them. But so I've got some obscure stuff in here. This is one that's been kicking about in my song folder for many, many years. I don't actually even quite remember who taught me it, and it said at the top in a little handwritten scroll, Tom
Uh-huh.
Morton. So it's even hard to track Tom Morton down on the internet, but I found him just 2 days ago and got his permission to use this song. Turns out that he was, a long time ago, he used to do a lot of folk music and a lot of gospel music, and these days he's actually a politician. He's part of the British government. But this is a song he wrote called On the Friday Night, which again, it's about I presume probably Thomas, one of the disciples, but it's that period between Jesus has died and we thought this was all going to be so amazing, and he's dead. And we weren't expecting that. So this is the Friday Night, and this is Thomas's view by Tom Morton of what the world is now that Jesus has unexpectedly died. On the Friday night, we felt that life had ended. On the Friday night, our world fell apart. I could not see. My eyes were filled with tears and a bitter sadness crucified my heart. He's dead, the one we thought would never die. He's dead, with all his friends just standing by. We believed he was God's chosen one, but he's dead, just like the setting of the sun. On the Sunday morning, some women came home crying. On the Sunday morning, said they'd seen the Lord. Oh, how I scorned their hysterical delusions. My agony's too deep to hear their words. He's dead. I know, oh God, I saw him die. Saw him on that center cross, heard him give that cry. The one we thought would free us now is gone, and the world awaits the rising of the sun. 8 days later, still disbelieving. 8 days later, wound up in grief. A voice said, all right, feel the spear wound in my side, feel my hands nail down your disbelief. He's alive. Jesus, what can I say? He's alive. He's taken all my fears away. The death we thought would crush us now is gone, and the world can see the rising of the sun. And the world can see the rising of the sun. And the world can see the rising of the sun. He's alive. Jesus, what can I say? He's alive. taken all my fears away. The death we thought would crush us now is gone. And the world can see the rising of the sun. And the world can see the rising of the sun. And the world can see the rising of the sun.
Great song, wow. Well,
yeah, it surprises me that that song never got more traction. As I say, it was. I can't find it anywhere on the internet. I was on Facebook sending random messages to people called Tom Morton who looked like they might have come from somewhere in the right area until I finally got one who said, yeah, I think I did write that song back in my gospel singing days when I was 18. So,
okay,
and,
cool. Wow.
So I like to think that I could maybe take it and give it a new lease of life, because nobody else seems to be doing anything with that one.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Blessed are those who have not seen yet. Believe, you know.
Indeed. And in a similar vein to Dusty Roads, it's dealing with the bit in between the mundaneness and the confusingness of life, rather than all the. I mean, yes, there's excitement and there's miracles every now and again, and these things happen, but it's not every day. And I think a lot of people have got into trouble because the miracles didn't happen all the time.
Right,
But yeah, sometimes you just have to wait, and Thomas is there going, I don't understand what just happened. This was supposed to be amazing, and we all believed it, and then suddenly he's dead.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways that happens to a lot of us in a lot of things. We think God's got this amazing plan, and this is happening, and this is going to happen, and what? And something you just don't expect can really trip you up.
Yeah, certainly.
So yes, I'm glad I managed to track down Tom Morton and get his permission for that song, and I'm going to keep singing it. So.
Yeah, it's a great song. Really
But so moving on, I'm going to move to a friend of mine, a guy that I do know well, a man in the north of England by the name of Rolly Johnson, and he's a far better musician than me. It'd be better having him on the show than you and me. But I'm going to steal one of his songs anyway. I've known him, goodness me, again, quite a long time. When I was a teenager, he used to lead the worship at a church that I went to. He came from the north of England, we came from the south of Scotland, and we met in this church almost on the border. And he has this wonderful strapline. He doesn't sing Christian songs, he doesn't sing religious songs, he doesn't sing songs about God. He sings songs about life. Because as far as he can tell, if your life is about God, then songs about life kind of covers it. You don't need to cram Jesus and God into everything. But this one, he definitely has. This, I kind of sing this quite growly. He's better at it than me. But this is a Rolly Johnson song called A Friend of Mine.
Okay.
Friend of mine tried to die, ooh, in a time-honored way, in somebody's house on just another street, ooh, in a time-honored way. And something took a hold of him from deep down inside. Something he couldn't control, but he couldn't hide. But he didn't die. I wonder why. The pills and the needles, they hadn't done their job. Depression didn't go away. No, it just got worse. Life didn't get easier. No, it just got harder, and confusion took over from reality. Something took a hold of him from deep down inside. Something he couldn't control and he couldn't hide. The devil took a hold of him and it wouldn't let go of him. If it hadn't been for Jesus, my friend would have died. Jesus is setting people free now. Jesus is still changing lives. Jesus is holding out his hand to you. You can choose to live, take it, or you can choose to die. If you're looking for kicks and walking on the dark side, playing with death and needles and capsules, if you don't turn now, just move further away. There's only one direction, that's down. And something will take a hold of you from deep down inside. Something you cannot control, you'll never be able to hide. The devil will take a hold of you and it won't let go of you. Unless you choose Jesus, you lose your life. Jesus is setting people free now. Jesus is still changing lives. Jesus is holding out his hand to you. You can choose to live, take it, or you can choose Jesus is setting people free now. Jesus is still changing lives. Jesus is holding out his hand to you. You can choose to live and take it, or you can choose to die. You can choose to live and take it, or you can choose to die. You can choose to live and take it.
Great song, wow.
Yeah, he's better at it than me, but it's still a good song.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Cool.
I know a lot of the people he knows, so it's quite likely I could think of one or two candidates that I know the guy that song was written about, but I wouldn't want to say for sure. And yeah, sometimes sometimes people get themselves into an awful lot of trouble, but there is always a way out, and it's good to remember that. Almost as a comparison to the two songs that we've had previously, where we're looking at the gaps where nothing much happens. When you always find that when you do need God to do something, He will.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. Cool.
So how long do you want to go on for? I could play you tunes for quite a long time, but
Maybe a few songs, yeah, that'd be fine.
a few more. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do two more then. I've got two that go quite well together.
Awesome.
If you're good with that, and if you don't want to stop, I can keep going after that. But we'll do two more and see how you go. I'll stick the rest on YouTube myself later. So I'm going to go to somebody a bit more well known now, Keith Green. You'll have come across Keith Green, I'm sure. He was 70s, 80s piano player, wrote a lot of the songs that we maybe sing in our churches. And I don't know if you ever read his biography. He died when he was, I think, early 30s. And the thing I like about Keith Green's music is that he was always very honest. He never tried to write a song about something he didn't actually believe in. He didn't take the concepts and go, oh, people want to hear a song about this. He wrote songs about life. He wrote songs about what he believed, and he was very black and white. And yeah, I think sometimes as a musician it's easy to write a song that you think people would like, and write songs about the things that you think people want to hear. And I always admired Keith Green because he wrote songs about what he thought he needed to say, which was a very different thing. So this is a Keith Green song about the parable of the Good Samaritan. It's Jericho. And again, as I'll say on all these songs, the guys that wrote it, you should go and listen to their music, not me. But since you've got me, then you're going to have me playing it.
Okay.
I left Jerusalem last week for Jericho. In the afternoon, the sun was getting low, and then the bushes shook and out they came at me. They were robbing me half naked, and they beat me head to toe. Then they left me on the road to Jericho. Lying almost slain and wounded by the road, crying out in pain for a sympathetic soul. First a priest and then another of my kind. They were men I could have trusted, but they acted deaf and blind. They were strangers on the road to Jericho. 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 Through the blood and tears I saw a worried face. He was from Samaria, while my people hate his race. He bandaged up my wounds and he laid me on his horse. Though my memory is cloudy, I can still feel his friendly glow. Such a kind man on the road to Jericho. When I later asked the innkeeper the man's name, he did not know. Just a neighbor on the road to Jericho. 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 Oh, oh, Jericho.
Awesome song. Yeah, I love Keith Green. You know.
Yeah, everything he did was amazing. All his music was amazing anyway.
Yeah, yeah. He died afterwards. I became a Christian, so yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
so I didn't see him live, but I've known people who've seen his concerts. You know.
Yeah. No, he never came over here, so I never saw it. I would have been very young when he died, but I remember going to the memorial concert, which was a video broadcast.
Right.
But no, he never came to Scotland, as far as I'm aware.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Wow.
uh, but no, a very powerful man with very powerful songs, and it's a story we all know well. But I played you that one specifically to lead into the next one, which is by someone that you wouldn't have heard of before. This is a Glasgow band called the Honey Thieves, and they were not desperately, but they toured Europe and the UK for a good few years, late 90s, early 2000s. They've disbanded now and they've all gone and got real jobs as normal, sensible people. But they wrote this song called 20 Stories High, which again, it's back to this story, songs about life scenario. This doesn't actually mention the Bible or God or Jesus in it at any point. It's just a story about a guy living in a tower block. And I ran this past an American friend of mine just to make sure for the translation. So a couple of things that are different in the language. What you guys would call an apartment, we would call a flat.
Okay.
So this is about a guy living in a flat on the 20th story, and he's looking, and his neighbour is an old man that lives in one of the flats, one of the apartments in the block, and he said, I haven't seen him in a while. He's probably be okay, but it's not my place. And so often these days, especially in big cities and in flats and big apartment blocks, like you see the world go by, but it's like I shouldn't get involved. That's not my place. I'll just leave them to it. I'm thinking about the story of the Good Samaritan that we've just heard from Keith Green and Who is My Neighbour? And God tells you that everybody is your neighbour, and it's not up to you to poke your nose into other people's affairs. But if you think there's a problem, it is up to you to stick your head in and solve it. It's all very well sitting saying, "Oh, I don't know, I haven't seen that guy in weeks. I'll pray for him." Try knocking on the door and saying, "Are you okay, mate?" So anyway, I hope that this translates well enough to your side of the pond. But this is with that button there and that button there. This is 20 Stories High by the Honey Thieves.
Okay.
Mr. Pearson's gone away. It looks like he's on holiday. It seems that way. I haven't seen him for 3 weeks. You know that he was 86 in January. It may be that he's got a son. He visits in the winter months. You know how cold it gets this time of year. But it wouldn't be my place to interfere. Can you touch the sky when you're 20 stories high? There's a family on the 7th floor. They're not a family anymore. The father's gone. He left them for a barmaid. Now he visits every second Sunday of the month. The mother's claiming benefits and trying hard to make ends meet. I've seen her pull a pram up all these stairs, but I haven't seen her smile in this past year. Can you touch the sky when you're 20 stories high? Well, the couple in the flat above, I'm sure that they were once in love in years gone by. But nowadays they scream and fight, and almost every other night I hear her cry. I heard them last night on the landing, screaming something in Italian. This morning she wore glasses on her eyes, and she stared down at the ground as I walked by. Can you touch the sky when you're 20 stories high? Well, my grandfather spoke to me of tenements and friendly faces in the street. How no one used to lock their doors. You wouldn't get that anymore, he said to me. Since these high-rises came around with all these strangers in our town, they said the urban planners were to blame. But maybe it's the people that have changed. Can you touch the sky when you're 20 stories high? Can you touch the sky when you're 20 stories high? Can you touch the sky when you're 20 stories high?
Neat song. Cool.
Yeah, I always liked the Honey Thieves. I was sad when they disbanded, but
Yeah. Cool.
yeah, again, they're hard to track down, but they're easier than Tom Morton. So if you look up the Honey Thieves on, I think, Discography, and they've got some stuff on Bandcamp, you'll still find their stuff around. A very Scottish band with
Okay.
full of mandolins and fiddles.
Cool.
So
So where can we get your music?
you can get my music. I've got a YouTube channel. There's not a lot up there at the moment, but you can find me on Scurfield Music on YouTube.
Okay.
Some of it is gospel songs. Some of it is Scottish folk music. Some of it is just
Oh.
myself singing other songs. But you'll find me there if you want to. And the stuff
Oh.
I recorded for tonight that didn't make the cut, I'll stick that up there as well.
Awesome. So, yeah. So how can we contact you?
If you wanted to, then you can email me on... the only hard thing with emailing me is you have to work out how to spell Scurfield. But otherwise, the rest is easy. You can get me on music@scurfield.scot.
Okay.
But like I say, I mean, you'll have heard from the things I've played tonight. I'm nothing special. I'm a bloke with a guitar that likes singing songs. I'll sing for anybody that asks me, but I can point you in the direction of much better musicians than me. I just like the music.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, what's ahead for you?
What's ahead for me? Well, the next thing, well, I'm just at church on Sunday. I'm leading the worship there, so I was putting that together at the same time as putting the songs together for you. Musically, not a lot. I've got a few Scottish folk gigs coming up. Again, they're just dances, a Scottish Ceilidh dance. You should get to one if ever you're over here. It'll wear you out quicker than anything. Otherwise, just back to work. The day job is organising conferences and exhibitions, so juggling that and my family. I've got a wife and a 9-year-old daughter, and they take up a lot of time as well. I'm self-employed, so I get to spend more time with them than I would if I if I had a boss to account to. So that's me. So church on Sunday is the next time the guitar is in my hands, but that's only a few days away. So
Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Was a pleasure having you. Any last words?
any last words? No. What would I say? I mean, anybody who's watching this is presumably interested in Christian music. So I'm going to say, just you don't need to be brilliant. You just need to get the point across. Everybody wants to hear a brilliant musician. It's great. If I wanted to go and hear a music concert, I would go and hear someone who was the best I could find. But if all you can do is pick up a guitar and sing some songs for your friends, if you're getting the point across and you're telling them what you genuinely believe, then do it. If it's performing songs, if it's singing songs in church, again, there's no difference there in church worship. If you're singing songs that you don't believe, you've got to stop and think, why am I singing these words?
Sure.
So yeah, I suppose my last words would be sing stuff you believe in.
Okay, awesome.
You can edit that down to a little sound bite and make me sound cool then.
Okay. Well. God bless you, and we'll find your stuff over on YouTube. Any other places, or is that it?
That's about it, really. I mean, you can find my band on Facebook, but I'm not even.
Okay.
I don't have a button. I don't have a button for that, and the
Oh,
band
okay.
name is Garavushka, which is Gaelic. So
Okay.
yeah, I reckon if you go on YouTube, you'll find everything there. Everything that's on Facebook ended up on YouTube anyway.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, God bless you, and it's great talking to you.
Thank you, and you,
And
Stephen. Thank you for having me on. I really
good,
appreciate it.
good morning to you, and good night to us. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Good night.
All right.
I'll see you
Okay.
next time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye now.